Ronnie.
I'm Jonathan.
My father was not the most passionate man when I was growing up, but I do have to give him credit for one thing, and that is introducing me to my favorite art medium, film. I love the movies growing up. One of my favorite pastimes was going to the video store with my father and picking out a VHS and then spending the afternoon looking at stories of action and adventure. It wasn't until later that I realized that it wasn't just entertainment during that time. Like, I was learning life lessons from these movies. And so I'm here today to share with you 3 movies that exemplify me because of those lessons that they pass on to me. And so without further ado, number 1, Empire Strikes Back. I didn't know that the bad guys could win at the end of the movie. I spent the last 45 minutes watching that movie. I watched Mark Hamill get his hand cut off. He found out that the most evil man in the universe was his father. And Harrison Ford got captured and sent off to a gangster. And I remember looking at my father so confused. The bad guys just won. And I remember him looking at me and saying, "It's okay, there's a third one." So I would find out later watching Return of the Jedi what happens, but what I took away from that lesson was sometimes the bad guys win, but it's a good guy's job to get up and keep going on. And so that takes me to my second movie, which is another Harrison Ford classic, Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you haven't seen that movie in a while, I advise you to go back and take another look because it has the most incredible opening, iconic sequences in movies ever. Harrison Ford is getting chased down by a huge boulder. He narrowly escapes in a biplane, and finally when he gets away, he finds that there's a snake in his lap, and he starts screaming about how much he hates snakes. Well, this didn't really make much sense to me either when I was watching it, and so again, I turned to my father all confused, and he says, "It's okay for the hero to have flaws." So that made me think also, because up until that point in time, all my real heroes and superheroes, like Superman, you know, they were perfect, they were invulnerable. But then after that, I began to become more interested in the flawed heroes. And so that brings me to my third and final movie, which is Tim Burton's Batman. That became one of my favorite movies of all time because the hero has flaws and he can work through them. And I don't really have an anecdote from my father on that, but I guess the lesson that I took away is don't be mean to people because they may end up being a psychotic clown. If you have a better, something better to take away from all this, please let me know, because to me the best lessons in life are simple. Get back up and live to fight another day. It's okay to have flaws, and don't be mean to people because they might be psychotic.